They said Jay-Z was my dad. They said...
Versus... Whoa, wait, don't give away too much, man. Yeah, okay, I can say clone, I want to say clone. All right, so there's like a clone.
We out here on vacation in the Bahamas, another beautiful day. Check it out, check it out. Ooh. I want to talk to y'all for a minute about the power of perception.
Epstein files reveal the largest genocide in human history, and it is being hidden from your eyes. 8 million children go missing every single year. Look at all these people with black eyes. Politicians, your famous actors, the Pope, high-level people. They all participate. This is an email from the Epstein files. All you need is a blood transfusion from the pack and you reverse aging.
You think you're the devil himself?
No, but I do have a good mirror.
It's a serious question.
Sorry.
Do you think you're the devil himself?
I don't know. Why would you say that?
Is your money dirty money?
If you live,
I just asked a question. Is your money dirty money?
No, it's not. So, in fact,
why is it not dirty money?
Because I earned it, heart.
But you earned it.
I earned it legally.
Bryshere Gray's story is one of the darkest collapses Hollywood has watched in real time because it never felt like a normal young star crash out. It felt like somebody got to him, handled him, and then left him to rot in public once the damage was done. One minute, he was the breakout face of Empire, the kind of young actor the industry loves because he was talented, marketable, and easy to package. And the next minute, he's spiraling on camera, getting arrested, battling addiction rumors, showing up online in humiliating situations, and moving like a man who's been carrying something heavy for way too long. And now his name is back in the conversation for the worst reason possible, because people are saying Katt Williams has been hinting that Bryshere wasn't just exploited in Hollywood, he was targeted by Epstein's circle. Before we go any further, if you're tired of Hollywood getting away with this kind of stuff, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because this story isn't just messy, it's disturbing.
He canceled me for talking about Harvey Weinstein before the thing came out, but he offered to suck my in front of all my people at my agency. What am I supposed to do? He did all of that. I'm thinking I'm the only black person on the script. I get there, there's 3 other black guys on there. Ooh. Huh.
So you wonder what they did?
I told him no. What y'all do? And this is why when I walk in a room, heads go down.
Bisexual, they do weird things in their house, and young men have left their house screaming to get away from them in their mentorship. Meek Mills, Bryshere Gray, left that house screaming. August the only one that stayed, and I guess he was really sick. He needed a dog.
Because what's making this blow up isn't just Bryshere's downfall, it's how many different names keep circling his story like vultures. Will Smith, Diddy, Charlie Mack, Jaguar Wright, Bilal, and now, somehow, Epstein. It's the same pattern people keep seeing over and over. A young star rises fast, gets attached to mentors, gets access to elite rooms, gets praised publicly. Then behind the scenes, the vibe changes, and years later, the same person is broken, unstable, and barely functioning. And when you look at Bryshere now, it's hard not to feel like something happened to him that the public never got the full story on. Because this wasn't some slow decline. This wasn't, he made a couple bad choices and the fame got to him. Bryshere looks like somebody who got hollowed out. And that's why people keep bringing him up whenever Hollywood exploitation gets discussed, because he's one of the only cases where you can literally see the before and after. And Katt Williams is the reason this story keeps resurfacing, because Katt has spent years talking like Hollywood is not an industry, it's a private club. And the membership fee isn't talent, it's obedience, it's silence. It's letting powerful people do whatever they want and smiling like it's normal. Katt has always talked like someone who has been approached, tested, pressured, and then punished for refusing. He's hinted at powerful men trying to play games with him, at executives dangling opportunities like bait, and at the way the industry tries to bend people into shape. So when Katt's name gets attached to Bryshere's story, it adds weight.
Andy, I'm talking about Bryshere's mom. I'ma kick you in your and I'm gonna go to work North Philly style. Kill. And Charlie, you happy now? He's a gay star. Are you happy now, Andy? For a book that didn't sell. I hope that new husband of yours leaves you. And maybe it's time you tell your son why his father is really in jail, his biological father, for all of his life, and what you had to do with it. You CI that came to me and begged me for my help. I told her to get the fuck away from Charlie. I did everything that I could do to get Bryshere, to help her get Bryshere out of California into Chicago safe, to be ready for filming. She knew she knew what Will did to him. But because of Charlie, see? And Charlie had promised her all kinds of things. And all she had to do was pretend to be a broken down single mom who worked her way up through the ghetto and raised a superstar for television, when the truth is, she wasn't nothing but a dealer's. That's all she ever was. She went from dealer to dealer, and then she snitched on whoever she needed to snitch on until she could get to the bigger bag, until she got with Larry Lair, my friend who raised Bryshere in $1 million home. Your whole book is lies, Andy, and I hope anybody that bought it asks for a refund and demands it comes out of your pocket every time they see your son's gate. You and Charlie Mack.
Because Katt isn't some random blogger repeating rumors he's a comedian who's been in those rooms, and he's been loud about the fact that he didn't play along. And that's why people online see Bryshere as the opposite, a young star who didn't have the power, the protection, or the mindset to resist. And the internet's obsession with connecting Bryshere to Epstein's circle is coming from one ugly idea, that Epstein wasn't just one man, he was a symbol of how elite circles operate. People don't even talk about the island like a real place anymore. They talk about it like a concept, a type of environment where powerful men trade access, trade secrets, and protect each other with leverage. And once you understand that, you understand why Bryshere's downfall is being reinterpreted, because his story doesn't feel random. It feels like a pipeline. It feels like somebody saw him early, decided he was useful, and moved him through a system that he didn't fully understand. And the word people keep using is targeted. That word matters. Targeted means intentional. Targeted means somebody wanted him. Targeted means this wasn't just Hollywood being messy, this was Hollywood being predatory. And the scariest part is how many names keep orbiting Bryshere's story in the exact same way. Will Smith's name has been attached to Bryshere for years through the so-called mentorship rumors.
Yaz's mom brought Yaz to Charlie, and Charlie came and got me and was like, "What you want to do?" I started writing for Yaz, like that's why it makes me mad to see what's going on with him right now. Like I can't believe what I'm watching.
Right.
I can't believe what I'm watching. Like, for you to flip that way and turn like you doing gay porn, and like, what is wrong with you, man? No disrespect to anybody gay, but it's just like,
because it was him.
It's a kid I watched from a grow up, so it's like, and then like the mental issues that he have. You feel what I'm saying? I know he had mental issues. Like, he ain't all the way there. So to watch all this happening, it's like, all right, where all the people that was around when the money was around?
Diddy's name follows that same trail. Charlie Mack gets mentioned as a gatekeeper figure. Jaguar Wright comes in like a wrecking ball, saying what everyone else won't say. And then Bilal comes in with the most graphic, most extreme claims. The kind of claims that make people uncomfortable, but also make people listen, because he speaks like someone who thinks he has receipts. The mentorship angle is the piece that keeps making people's stomach turn, because from the outside, it sounded like the dream. Young actor gets guided by legendary stars, gets connected, gets protected, gets trained. But the way the internet tells it now, mentorship was the last thing happening. Jaguar Wright has claimed that Bryshere and other young men were allegedly being exploited, controlled, and used in private environments. And she even brought up stories of young men leaving houses screaming, panicked, running like they escaped something they couldn't process. And whether you believe Jaguar or not, the reason her claims stick is because Bryshere's current reality makes people feel like something went wrong behind closed doors. Because when you watch Bryshere today, you don't just see addiction, you see instability, you see humiliation, you see a man who looks like he's been living in survival mode for years. And that's where the Epstein circle part gets injected, because the internet is basically saying, what if Bryshere wasn't just exploited by a few powerful men in Hollywood? What if he was moved through a larger network? What if the same circles connected to Diddy and Weinstein also overlapped with Epstein's social web, and Bryshere was just one more young talent placed in the middle of it? And this is where the story turns from messy to terrifying, because it's not even about whether Bryshere was literally on some island, it's about the idea that the elite operate like a marketplace.
Open the door to Dwayne's dressing room, and that's when I see Dwayne and having with Will.
Let me process that for a second.
There was a couch, and Will was bent over on the couch, and Dwayne was standing up. Murder. Like, it was murder.
That there are rooms where access is traded, and the people being traded aren't always willing. That's why people can't stop talking about Epstein, because Epstein became proof that the rich protect the rich, and the people at the bottom don't matter. And Bryshere looks like one of those people who didn't matter to the machine once the machine was done with him. Now, the Bilal part is what really reopened this whole thing, because Bilal has gone on platforms and described alleged situations involving Will Smith, and whether people believe him or not, his story spread because he doesn't talk like someone guessing. He talks like someone who wants people to fear him. He talks like someone who wants the industry to know he's willing to burn everything down. He's claimed he's speaking under penalty of perjury. He's described alleged tapes, alleged hard drives, alleged celebrity involvement, and then he pulled Bryshere into it by saying Bryshere allegedly confessed to him while spiraling. And that's the detail that makes this feel so ugly, because it paints Bryshere not as some reckless adult making choices, but as someone whose trauma was leaking out through addiction and breakdowns. And if you've ever been around someone who's self-destructing, you know what it looks like when a person is trying to numb something they can't say out loud. That's why people online keep saying Bryshere's downfall wasn't random, it was the aftershock. And when you step back, you start noticing something even more damning: the loneliness.
For Empire, it's a damn mess. It's no other way to put it. This dude is going crazy, right? He's out there allegedly with male prostitutes. He's pissing in the trailer. He's acting psychotic, right?
The same thing he's doing now.
Beyond that. But this is why a show is going on. I pulled him to the side. I said, listen, I'm here to help you, and so forth and so on. So he was like, all right, I feel that. He said, everybody on the set know you. Everybody seem like they love you. Okay. I want to love you because everybody else love you. I said, if that's what you want to do, then do it. But he kept acting up. And then one day I said, what the F is wrong with you? And he was like, you know. He said, you know Will me. You know Diddy made me suck his face. You know what's going on. You know Charlie made me suck. And I said, I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea. So he crying, no is coming from his nose. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And I'm like, yo, listen. Somebody stole 2 hard drives from Jada's house. So now we get into why she's even more mad. Jada would watch at the houses. She had her laptop. She would stick her hard drive in, right? Boom, and hook it up to the TV. And she could play whatever video she watching. So I'm seeing videos of her and Will and a bunch of some celebrities, everything. Because remember, the last interview I told you, if you don't sue me, I'm gonna let people know who you've been hitting with them. And I said, if you don't sue, I'm going to sue. So I told you, being Muslim, whatever I say I'm going to do, that's what I'm going to do, period. And I got to have evidence. So she's sitting down here watching, playing with herself, high as a kite, right? Not caring who's in the house, whether kids watching, nothing. She's in her own world. So that's how I was able to see the tapes. I saw them, and I saw some things that were unreal, and I saw celebrities on the tape.
Ooh.
I'm under penalty of perjury. If anything in here is a lie, my ass going to jail, period. There's no if, there's no ends, there's no buts. You know what you and Diddy was doing together in y'all younger years. All that's coming out.
Who else did you see allegedly on the tapes?
Tyrese with Will and Jada. Then the one with Charlie Mack and Will. Jada's not on it, but you can hear her say, make him spit up, period. So when these tapes come out, people will know I'm telling So it's time for everybody that got a credible story, I should say, to start the process.
Where were the mentors when he started falling apart? Where were the industry friends when the money dried up? Where were the protectors when he started getting arrested? Because that's the pattern people can't ignore. When the star is profitable, everyone's around. When the star is broken, everyone disappears. And that disappearance is why people believe the worst. It's why the phrase, "they broke him," hits so hard, because Bryshere doesn't look like someone who simply made mistakes. He looks like someone who got damaged intentionally by forces bigger than him. And the public response to that has been cruel. People laugh, people clown him, people call him a joke. But when you look at him long enough, it stops being funny. It becomes grief, because this wasn't supposed to be his story. Bryshere had charisma, he had star quality, he had something real, and now that something looks gone. And that's why Katt Williams' words are catching fire again, because Katt has always talked about Hollywood like it's a place where certain people get chosen, used, and discarded. And Bryshere looks like the most painful example of that. And now, with Epstein's name back in the headlines and the internet trying to connect every dot, Bryshere's story is being pulled into a bigger narrative of elite circles, private parties, and exploitation pipelines. But here's what makes this even more twisted. Even if the Epstein connection is never proven, Bryshere's collapse is still real. The pain is still real. The instability is still real. The humiliation is still real. And the silence around him is still real. And that silence is why this story keeps resurfacing. Because the industry wants Bryshere to be a joke, a cautionary tale, a "don't do drugs" headline, but people are starting to look at him and feel something else: anger. Because it's hard to watch someone fall this hard and not feel like something was stolen from them. And if the rumors are even remotely true, then what was stolen from Bryshere wasn't just his career, it was his identity. And the scariest question isn't even what happened to him. The scariest question is how many other young stars went through the same pipeline and never made it out loud enough for the public to notice. So I want to know what you think. Do you believe Bryshere Gray was truly targeted by a bigger circle, or do you think the internet is forcing his name into the Epstein narrative for clicks? Drop your thoughts below, and if you want the deeper breakdown on the Will Smith, Diddy, Jaguar Wright, and Bilal side of this story, I've got that messy video coming next.